Got those, we got that. Alright, welcome back, people. We got a big one here. We're gonna throw it down on its side in a moment. Switch up there. Alright, we have a slight issue. Here. The Ethernet port is not working. This is from one of like the SI's, like system integrator, like iBuyPower, Cyberpower PC, or yeah, iBuyPower, Cyberpower PC, or Cyberpower, whichever one it is. I believe it's one of the pre-configured, pre-built systems that you can get online. A little dusty. Anyhow, the integrated onboard Ethernet port is bad, and then we also, if I didn't block the camera, you can kind of see them over here. We've got 2 Optiplexes, well, a total of 3, but one's done and already out. First things first, let's get this down so we can have at least a little better look at it. We'll grab a couple mats, some trusty mat. We want to see if I had to think about that for too long. What's going on with it? So let's get a trusty mat here. I'll throw one back there, one under the back corner, and then just one lone mat out front, protecting the side of this customer's case. Overall, not a bad system. Core i5 7500, I think. It's definitely 7th gen Core i5. AMD Radeon RX 580, 540. I don't know AMD cards. Give me a sec to look. So it's an AMD Radeon RX. Does it say 480? 480 core or something like that. Okay, I don't know AMD cards. I apologize. Their names are not in my vernacular, in my list of words that I use. We do have room for an SSD. Let's go over what we're actually going to do to this thing. We're not going to do it today, but we will bring it back on stream as soon as everything shows up. Okay, so we'll unplug the graphics card. This person wants to move over to an SSD. They do have an SSD, which they've got a spot for here. And I'm guessing, yeah, they have a spot there. And also, where else could we lock one of these in? Just looks like those 2 spots, and then possibly they have something else, some other accessory that plugs in there, but you basically have a little... Can we get the Super Sony? Let's get it. So you basically have this little guy here who was clipped in over in this area and then screwed down. They do have a 2.5-inch SSD that they want to have installed in the system, and that's fine. We brought something else up to them, and I'll show you that here. We're going to go ahead and actually unplug everything before we do anything further to this system. Alright. Where is it? Wow, we can't even install that. We don't have a PCI slot. Imagine that. Alright, let's do that. And where is the one for the GPU? Is there? Alright, so I don't know if the owner of this has ever actually taken a look in the case. And just imagine with the graphics card there and then with it plugged in. Okay, you're not going to see a whole lot, right? Like, let's turn the camera slightly. There we go. And we'll straighten it out a little. Okay, so with this plugged in, you're not going to see a whole lot. You can get down under and look at an angle like this. If you put it up on a bench, you can't really see under the GPU. If you know what you're looking at, you can see what's there kind of barely. You can just see the edge. If you look from the top, you really can't see it either. The GPU is blocking. So they have a 2.5-inch SSD that they want to install. They have, I believe, what is this thing? A 1 terabyte Western Digital hard drive down in this location here. And they're going to have a 2.5-inch SSD there. And then also under the graphics card, we brought this up to them, and I think pretty sure they're going to go with it. There is room for, I don't have a full-size SSD here. You'll have to excuse me on this one. I don't even know if this will plug in there. Probably not. It is a Wi-Fi card, and it is the wrong, the complete wrong key. But just imagine, that helps you see the slot. There is a slot right there. Never mind. Clear image zoom, you can't do it. Alright, we'll do it like that. Bring it into focus. See, we have our slot right there for a full size, I think 80 millimeter SSD should fit well from here to there. You could get anything in between. I think what we're going to do, I don't know what the most beneficial way to do it would be, but I'm going to go ahead and read into a little check on it. Either booting Windows from this SSD and running games from the 2.5-inch over here is one possibility, or boot Windows from the 2.5-inch and have games installed to the M.2 SSD in that slot. Now we were going to throw a LAN card in, but as you can see, we don't have a PCI slot. We only have PCIe 1X. We don't have a normal PCI slot, and then we have our full-size PCI slot. The GPU goes there. It pretty much covered up the M.2 slot, but it is there. So they're going to get a little more speed from either SSD that they choose to boot their Windows operating system from. They'll have mass storage on the 3.5-inch drive down there. See, that's when we get that in, and then at least in one of these we're putting a Bluetooth / Wi-Fi, I think Wi-Fi AX, Bluetooth 6, if those are the right numbers. Bluetooth 6, Wi-Fi A, not AC, not N, not whatever was after AC, AX, I think is 6 or Bluetooth 5, one of the two for the Bluetooth going here. And then we also, if we can't do anything with their onboard Ethernet port up here, right here. I already went into Windows, uninstalled the driver, reinstalled it, not working, maybe malfunctioning. I'm going to go into the BIOS and check there, see if there's potentially a problem in the BIOS, and if not, we're going to get an Ethernet card that is PCIe 1X to throw in the second slot. That way they can stay hardwired. If they want Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, they'll have that option. M.2 drive going in to accompany the 2.5-inch SATA SSD, and they'll have a storage drive with the 1 terabyte, shifting all that around, getting it set up. And then what else? I think that's it for this one. Oh, more RAM. They're either doubling up from the 2 4-gig sticks to 4 gigs, or possibly 2 8-gig sticks to make it 8, 8, 16, 24 gigs total, I think. If this is 8. Is it 8? Yes, it is. That's that. Anyhow, let's connect it back up, throw our GPU in, and see. About getting this LAN port working. Not a bad setup for pre-built from like I think it's Cyberpower. What is it? Cyberpower PC Model C series. So yeah, 8 gigs of DDR4, 2400 megahertz Core i5 7500, Radeon RX 480 core, I think is what that said. Power supply, I don't know what wattage they're running under there. We have the cover, covering PSU, 1 terabyte Western Digital blue. Who cares about the optical drive? It's there. It's an LG, all black. Do we care about anything else till we get the parts? No, we don't. And their 12-volt rail isn't even plugged in all the way. I mean, it's connected. There, now it's in. Okay. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can connect this, go into BIOS, and get things functioning the way they should be. Plug in the little plug and get some sound. Got a keyboard, got a mouse. We're skipping our VGA cable for the KVM, going straight into... You know what? We have the cable. We're going to skip the display port and go right to HDMI. Skipping the display port connection. There, we have HDMI plugged in. We'll get our power. Turn it on. We're going to give it a boot and see now. Should we bother trying to send it to OBS? Alright. Why? You know what? I'm going to boot it first on the monitor and see. If there's nothing on the desktop, then we'll send it over to OBS. We do have some, not RGB, but I guess we just got R. We're missing the GB. It says it's strictly R. And I missed my chance. We're going to have to reboot now. Alright, we'll go to the desktop first and see if we can send it through to OBS without issue. Ah, the painful load of a spinny drive. So we did the spinny with the MSI logo. Now we're doing spinny on its own, and we should get a Windows with this little dot spinning in the circle. So painful, so painful. Oh my goodness. Alright, so far we have no connection. Plugging the cable in further, moving it up, down, side to side, pulling it out a little, it gives us no type of connection. So I'm guessing, and this does happen. I don't know. The Ethernet ports just die. They do. It's possible they can. If it's under warranty, I would suggest they send it, do an RMA and get a new motherboard. I don't believe it is, but we are going to check at next contact. If it's under warranty, let them know that that could be an option depending when they bought it. I don't know how old this is. Alright, and finally we're to a desktop. Undoubtedly an SSD will go much quicker. M.2 will really get it to where it needs to be. Alright, password. Alright, let's look at all the icons. Make sure we don't have no names. Nothing yet. Nothing there. Okay, and nothing telling there. No, everything is still loading. Alright, let's get one more HDMI cable. And we will pipe you out to OBS over DisplayPort. Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere. You're trying to update stuff that ain't happening. You need internet access to do that. Genius. Okay, HDMI going into OBS. Let's find out. Let's hit our repair, bring it up, and then we're going to go to our desktop options. Let's find out. We have that. Identify. So that is 2. This would be 1. Is it there? It is not. Let's go and we don't want to extend. Let's duplicate them. Keep the changes. Ooh, that is a bad resolution. We're doing 1080 the whole way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no wonder that was goofy. And let's find out. OBS, what are you made of today? Will you work? Haha. I like it. Okay. We're not cooking with gas yet, but we're at least thinking about cooking, so. Where's the ET mouse? ET is here. Plug ET in. We get some mouse action. Alright, let's go ahead and close this. No, not right now. We're going to go to our device manager. I'd said I'd already been in here. We went and took a look. It looks like it did reinstall it. GP and then the Realtek. Both of those are installed. The drivers are there, and it just network and sharing not connected. You know what? Let's go see if they had to do something goofy. We'll go here. Control panel. Does anybody use category view? Switch it now if you do. Go to small icons. get all the options that you possibly can. Take a look, take a see. Properties. Go to 4. Look at the properties. Okay, so they have nothing goofy set. It should be grabbing an automatic IP address and a DHCP. It is not even connected. Let's just do the dumb thing of disable and enable. See if that lets it grab it. Probably not. Now, it is enabled. Okay. My thoughts. The system is not. It's seeing the network port. If it was bad, would it see it though? I wanna say yeah, possibly it would, because this actually came out of my computer, the very one we're streaming with now. I kept hearing the device, you know, like when you plug USB or a device gets connected, you da-dum, 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 da-dum. It would connect and disconnect. And this is my Wi-Fi Bluetooth, my combo card, M.2 combo card that was in my streaming box here. Thus the red X, it's dead. It's dead. Don't worry. A couple other computers, it does the same thing. Funny enough, Device Manager Windows was still seeing this card. The computer was not having a good time of it though, but it could see it even when it was malfunctioning. It wasn't the internet that was bad, the Bluetooth went out of it. I wonder if something is wrong with their Ethernet port and Windows can still see it, it's just not functioning. Now, in the BIOS, if it was disabled, I can't guarantee 100%, no way of guaranteeing that this is how it works, but I'm pretty sure if that was disabled in the BIOS, the Ethernet port, that I don't think would we even see it in Windows? Honestly, would it see it? So that's what we do. That's what we are going to do. We're going to go check now. Before we do that, we're going to unplug the one display. Switch back over to our repair. And it is in MSI board. MSI BIOS should be delete. We're going to restart and hope that I catch the BIOS. Just do it. As long as this newer computer agrees with my KVM, I think we should be alright and not miss it. MSI, a newer board, F12 should be boot devices. Delete should definitely be the BIOS, and who knows if we're even going to see it. Alright, and there we made it in. Time to plug in the other dongle for the keyboard. That way we can stand over here where we can see our tiny 1080 display in OBS. We'll get our mini keyboard out and we're going to go through and look. Alright. Oh, not a whole lot of options. Onboard LAN controller enabled. Not looking good. Network stack. Network stack. So UEFI option. Disabled. SATA mode. Okay. Oh, I actually have to go here. How do we exit? Escape. Quit without saving. We didn't change anything, did we? No. Yes, quit without saving. And let's go back to our camera. We're going to let this boot up in the meantime. We'll plug back into our display. Disconnect our OBS monitor. We're going to take a look at the board. If I remember, this is what, a B250M bazooka? Alright. Out of curiosity's sake. We're going to see if there's a BIOS update for the board. MSI.com. So 7/10/2018. 7A70 version 17, 16 to 15. I don't know what BIOS they are on. Not version 127. So let's get. Oh. Wait a minute now. Why does it say AMI BIOS? Where be you, little chip? Show me. Tell me about yourself. Guessing one of those guys. It could be blocked. Use mFlash for BIOS. AMI BIOS. Alright, we're going to get the newest version downloaded and see if it installs in Windows, hopefully. Showing folder. Did we do it? Okay, skip it. I already did it. Forgot for a sec there. Alright, let's pull this and go back to, oh, we do have to log in. Give me a moment here and we will log in. Alright, logging in, computer's booted. We can plug back in for the sake of this stream. Haha, it froze. It legit froze. Alright, let's do this. Deactivate. Activate. Show me what you're made of, little MSI. Definitely no network connectivity. Alright, time for the BIOS. We actually have to do it that way. Okay, let's take a look. Flash. Oh, don't play, you dummy. Alright, let's do it that way. I think that should work. I was thinking for a moment, I was having flashbacks to the days of putting these on a floppy drive. I think this is our big plan. I don't know that we need them both, but we'll take them both. We're going to copy and throw these out. On the very root of our USB drive, and then I think we need to reboot and get into the BIOS. Alright, really fancy electronic brick coming up. Alright, let's do it. Hopefully not. Hopefully that is a big no. We're going to unplug the one screen and just go off of the one in OBS. Restart. We're going to hammer on our delete key on our other keyboard to get into the BIOS. Let's plug it back in and see. I know it likes freezing when it does the reboot. I really want a different capture card. Alright, it did go to BIOS, it just likes freezing up. Flash. Select one file to update BIOS and let's go back to system status. BIOS build date. So BIOS version 787.12 seems like a fairly old version. Let's look. 787. Oh. E787. Yeah, 2017. 2017. So that is, yeah, version 1.2 is what they're on, technically speaking. Going by this list here, they're on version 1.2. 2017 was the date of it, so we will get all the support of this updating to the most recent version, unless there was changes they had taken out. So let's go ahead and do it. It's always fun. Not really. Select one file to update BIOS, and Get out a USB flash drive. Oh, what kind of mess are we getting into here? And of course it deactivates. Or not deactivated, please don't remove USB driver shutdown system during BIOS update process. 12. And counting up. As long as all goes well here, nothing to sweat. These things can blow gaskets at any point in the process, rendering your system unusable. It was a lot more sketchy back in the days of using a USB floppy drive, or even having, whenever you did it from an internal floppy drive, those things were so unreliable. And finally, it was a relief moving over to where you could do it from a USB drive, a lot more reliable. And then moving on to moving on even further. What happened there? We lost part of her. Oh, I have that. Hold on. I have that black monitor up, don't I? Let's remove that. There we go. Okay. Moving on after floppy drive. And some people may not even know what the heck that is. Going from the floppy to the USB drive, and then being able to actually update it within Windows. You run a program and it does an update on its own. Fairly amazing. Still risky, but not as risky. Alright, let's see. This thing never likes to come back after the restart. Deactivate, activate. Press delete to run BIOS setup. Let's see if we made it. Or is it booting the Windows? If it is, we gotta switch it off. There goes our Windows spinner, so we gotta take it off of here and go out to our normal monitor. I don't like doing the goopy monitor thing, but whenever it boots up to somebody's name, you kind of gotta skip over that. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but when you see person's first and last name, that's not cool. You don't dox them like that, blow up their spot. Is that what you want? When Flat Earth Santa brings you presents this year, you want him telling people where he dropped them off? You kidding me? You wouldn't. Alright, we're getting to the point. Okay, new BIOS version. Are we going to have Ethernet on that port down there? Yeah, probably not. Probably not whatsoever. But we can always try. So let's go ahead. Put this password in. Get this monster into Windows. And let's put back our original display configuration now. Alright, what did we break? Did we break anything? I wish you could set an actual activate, deactivate the source, like in the OBS settings. I wish you could just do that. Like with a hotkey or something. Like not the switch from this source to another, but actually the the source is set up, the properties for that source, deactivate, there's a button it says activate when it's deactive and deactivate when it is active. Something that would do that, it would make this whole process a lot simpler. Let's go ahead and close this. So no internet. Very sad days. Very, very sad days. Not to fear though. Where is that goofy dock? Where is that goofy dock? Not to fear. We will get some internet over USB 3. I know it's blurry, please excuse it, but we have USB 3 to USB 3 and Ethernet, so we'll at least get some of the stuff updated on the system while it's on the bench. Do we move it out of the way, or do we do it? Do we do this later and move on to the Optiplexes? That's the fun part. I say we do that because I can set this up on the bench behind me. So let's go ahead and shut this thing down. We're going to do the old Alt F4. You know what? We didn't even take a look. Let's take an actual look-see. No. Go away. You know what? Why not? Let's try it. We'll troubleshoot it. Let it detect and do its reset. If this fixes it, I mean, I usually don't try these because they're usually useless. I have had it work. Okay. Plug an Ethernet cable into this computer. An Ethernet cable. Looks like connectors on it. You don't say? Really? It's bigger than a phone cable? I should probably get one of those and quit using this phone cable, huh? Yes. And you have to plug the other end of the cable in? No. Since when? Try using a different cable. That's what I did. The Ethernet cable at first didn't work. That's why I'm trying the phone cable. They told me to try a different one. I already saw this once. Skip that step. Is not properly plugged in or may be broken. Like I said, I'm at the back I/O of the case here. Oh, so difficult to get this here, but at the very back, and even moving this, just move it around a little, pull it in, pull it out. You can see that it attempts to get no connection whatsoever. So I'm going to call that port dead as you can get. 100% recommend if they can do RMA to do that. Do I have a short cable? Do I have something that's not 100 foot long? I don't want one of those. Nope, they're all long. Okay. Well, let's try one different Ethernet cable, the one that is plugged in to the switch on the wall. We will at least give a valid attempt at plugging in a different cable. Yeah, I'm going to lay it on motherboard problem. Probably a resistor, transistor, something shorted out on the motherboard without an actual, like a schematic of what readings all the components are supposed to read, or a secondary board to test one for one. Yeah, none. How did we do this? I always forget. That's how we did it. Getting dumb in here. Sorry about the seasickness. Alright, BIOS update to the most recent version did not work. Trying a different cable didn't work. Trying the phone cable definitely didn't work. As much BS as that is, but yes, it definitely did not work. No other problems. I'm going to, at some point, take the other side panel off of this computer and look at the back side of the board to check the contacts for the Ethernet port. Let's just say a little moisture got in here somehow and it is corroding a couple of the pins for the cable. That could be shutting it down. Highly, highly unlikely. But I have seen it happen before, so something definitely to look at. We're going to Alt F4 out of all this and shut this thing down, get it off of the bench, and get some Optiplexes up here. These are going to be fun. Much chooch. Right now, these Optiplexes have no chooch to them. We need more chooch, much chooch, to get them doing what they're supposed to do. So as soon as this guy shuts down, we'll get it out of the way. And there you have that. Get the trusty mats out of the way. We have a little bit of work to do before we just go nutty with the Optiplexes. And another thing that I really dig about them, they have rubber feet on the actual bottom if you want to stand it up, and then for working on them they have rubber feet on what you can also call the bottom for when you lay it down. It's a great thing. Alright, so anybody local to where we do this show from the area, you may know of a surplus store that you can get good computer deals at sometimes. And that is where these indeed did come from. Like I said, we can't dox people's spot. However, I've gotten stuff from other similar stores, surplus outlet stores, where they are used, came out of a university or like a doctor's office. Name the situation. They have a surplus of computers for cheap. What we're going to do though, I don't know to what extent I already checked. The thermal paste on it was dead gone. Huge air gaps. Looked like it was never applied properly from either A, the factory, or B, whoever had applied it a second time. It was not even close to making contact or cooling. And that was it was a no operating system setup. So we're going to pull this quick, check the thermal paste, and then move on with getting Windows installed. We have two of these to do. This one is an Optiplex 7, what is that, a 790. So this is a little bit older than the other one. They do look alike, but they are not alike. We have a 790 and a 7020. So they're going to be slightly different from each other. That's fine. Let's go ahead and get this pulled up. Alright, so it was tight, it just wasn't tightened down all the way. It was like 1/8 of a turn out. Trying to watch my audio levels in OBS. I don't have my iPad here today for monitoring. I mean, I can monitor on the recorder, but I just like the big screen of the iPad. It's right there flashing this big bouncing green VU meter. Right in your eyeballs where you can see it. you know? But I am trying to watch. I have a bad habit of letting mic pack batteries die. Now, what do we have to wrestle out of this thing in way of stuff? I don't think this is necessary. Oh, sorry about hitting that, but we're going to check. Say we do have some type of pivot point right there. Alright, fan out. Do we have more screws? Fan is not bad for a turbine fan. It's fairly clean. A little bit of dust. It's not bad, just a little bit of dust on the intake holes for the bearing. Overall, not bad. Do we have anything else holding this in, or is it, what, one turn? 2, 3, maybe 4 turns? Alright, it's free to come out. Alright, let's take a look here. As far as thermal compound on the processor, not bad at all for contact there. For what it was actually contacting on the copper part of our heatsink, yeah, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't making full contact. You can tell where it was making actual contact. Around the edge. So let's go ahead and clean that off. We're going to clean that off, take a look at what chip is in this. We'll get a little sneak peek into what this system is going to be running on. Just so we don't burn all of our minimal Q-tip stash, we're going to go ahead and grab part of a process tree. And wipe down this. It is still kind of greasy, slightly. Oh, headphone, you're getting on the nerves. Not only that, that is thermal paste, that dot that remains. But it's also like dirt that's stuck in there, some kind of chunk of something other than thermal compounds that pressing on a bare die like an old CPU would not be good, but on a heat spreader like that, I don't see it doing any actual damage. Get out of there, you. If you do get any computers from a surplus place, or, you know, bargain basement, guy who knows a guy per corner shop, guy who knows a guy out of the back of a van, wherever you may buy your stuff, if Flat Earth Santa drops you something like this off, go ahead and pull your heatsink and check out your thermal paste. Make sure you have thermal paste though. You can get it if you have a local Radio Shack or electronics store. They may very well have something like that. Or, if you must, go to one of the great online multi-box online stores that exist. I always try to, I at least attempt to buy stuff local. You can't buy everything local. It's not the way the world works anymore. If I can buy it local, I usually will, even at the detriment of spending a little more to get it local than the deal online. I always do that to try and help support local business. It is a good thing. But there are some deals to be had online. That said, thermal paste done. We're going to go ahead and brush out all four sides of the fins on our heatsink. Alright, I'm gonna say good to go. Flat Earth Santa would approve of that right there. No doubt. That would 100% be a ho ho ho. Merry Christmas. Take it as it is. Alright. And what is our chip? Let's take a look, people. We're going to go in as far as we can with our clear image zoom, and that's as far as we can go, and then we'll go in a little further. Can we read that? What is it? Core, is that an i7? i7 2600, so i7 2600. Let's take a look at this. i7 2600, 8 megs. What can you buy one for today on Amazon? $109. Does it say smart? Is this first or second gen? What is it? Well, no doubt it's quad core. Of course it is. No thanks. We're not picking a charity just to take a look at stuff. Intel HD graphics 2000. So that would be what? 2600. Because the first ones were like the Intel Core i7, like I don't know, the 780. So this would be what, second gen? Sandy Bridge. And then Ivory Bridge was next, third gen. So yeah, I think this was a Sandy Bridge if I'm not mistaken. Second gen Intel, not bad. It didn't have integrated graphics, or did it? Did it have the wait, I just read it. Intel HD graphics 2000. So I don't think all of the Sandy Bridge CPUs had integrated graphics. Thus, the reason for this guy sitting here, this Radeon old AMD graphics card. Gonna last forever? No. Second gen Intel i7. Good enough for an office computer? Certainly. Doesn't have to be brand new. Alright. Good to go there. Let's start reassembling this. We'll throw our fan back on in a moment. For now, you know what? Just because get out of there. What is locking you in? What are we working with here, people? What is it? Does it tell us? Nothing definitive yet. ATI 1, we'd have to look up the number. ATI 102C 26405. Just out of curiosity. 102 C 2645 A or B. It is the B. Let's look it up. So Radeon HD 6450. Radeon HD 6450. Not bad. Not bad for an older card. Not great. Made to definitely fit in your small form factor skinny case. We're going to lightly brush off the fan. These little fans like this, they will last if you keep them clean. And outside of like getting hit by lightning or some kind of failure like that, or overheating, or I don't know how good they were at gaming, but stressing it too much with some hard gaming, they will last a little bit and not be of a bad service to you. With that out of the way, let's get our heatsink installed, put our fan back on, and move this along. We have our diagonals tightened down. Let's get the other two. And then we have a few things to route through. Here. Oh, get out of the way there. Actually, that's all. We can leave that one run through there. Should be good. Let's go for our fan. Three short ones, two longer ones. Okay. We know where they go. We've got a plan. We have a slight clue. Get the two on the top. This one basically ready to go for the install. We'll get that started, and while that is happening, we will tear down the Optiplex 7020, and then we're out of here. We can't do much more with that big Cyberpower PC until we get the other parts. We got two PCI Express 1X cards coming, the M.2 solid state drive, and then the customer needs to bring in their 2.5 inch SATA solid state drive, and then also the RAM will be showing up. Alright, GPU, our fan is plugged in. We need to plug in our CPU fan. We're good to go. Let's get this plugged in. I remember back in 2012, trying to remember who made it. I think it was a sapphire card, but I had a small form factor HP about this size. It was an HP slimline, and I wanted the best performance I could possibly get to play Skyrim. Was that a thing back then? I think 60, what would it be, 6950? Is that what it was? No. Low profile. 6670 right there. 1 gig, 128 bit. This was the little guy that I had in my small form factor HP slimline PC. The motherboard died. It was an AMD processor, AMD chipset, and it just couldn't take the heat. AM2 socket. Yeah, it didn't last. Couldn't do it, people. Was not down with the program. Let's throw you in. Put you there. And what are we hitting? I see. Let's route that out of the way a little bit and try again now. Third time is a charm. You just have to remember how Dell packs their cables in. Right in. Hold it down. Lock it in place. Let's go for SATA power, SATA data coming soon. Do we still have sound? We do. SATA power, SATA data. Everything's looking good. Worth being mentioned that you do have a third onboard SATA port back here. You wouldn't have to eat it up with a SATA, like PCI Express SATA expansion card. You could throw like a Wi-Fi card in with your GPU. Get a low profile Wi-Fi card, or a card with a low profile bracket for the back adapter. Get a 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch adapter, like to adapt from 3.5 down to 2.5 inch hard drives, and run 2 solid state drives, or 1 solid state and like a 1 or 2 terabyte 2.5 inch laptop drive, and you would have room. If you get a 3.5 to 2.5 that holds 2 drives, you can plug both drives in and still your optical drive. That was with the Optiplex that I owned. That was precisely what I did until I sold it. Alright, everything looks good. It's out of the way. Let's lock you in, get a side panel. There is a side panel that belongs to you. Alright. Brief moment, I am going to reconnect the KVM. That way I have normal control of it instead of having to switch over the keyboard and mouse and then HDMI switch. Yeah, what was I saying? HDMI switch over the video aspect of it. We do have, what do we have? What is that? DisplayPort and DVI. So we're prepared, we're good, we're ready. We can get by. Can't believe there's 2 people out there. What are you doing to me? I lied, it's me. I'm out there. I did it. Alright, here we are. Gonna drink a Bam Sun shake. Right there, I can't show you the logos on it, but this is definitely a Bam Sun shake. I'm gonna throw it back in the freezer, or the fridge. Get out our Pepsi. Anybody ever noticed, anybody played DayZ? They had some crazy names for the soda in that game. Alright. What do we do? Do we do the install? Do we do it on... We'll test this graphics card ability. We will send the install out to OBS, possibly. I need an adapter, VGA to DVI. Can we use a 4-pinner? Yes, we can, because that's all I have. I accidentally gave away my DVI plug that did not have the 4 pins. It was just the slot. It didn't have the 4 pins around it. Some lady wanted to buy one, and I'm like, well, we don't have a new one. I have this used one you can go test your setup with, but the good news is I will get it back when she brings it back for the new one. Alright, we got... Alright, VGA is plugged in. We got our internet. What else are we looking for here? The sound, because it sounds good. Mouse, keyboard. We're not going to power it up yet. We are going to connect up to DisplayPort, HDMI to DisplayPort adapter, then plug in our DisplayPort connector. And then go power. Windows 10 install media right here. Let's go for it. There, USB. That stupid key. All right. Okay, we have our mouse and our keyboard. Take a moment and plug these in. That is one thing, depending on how old of an Optiplex you get, if you get one like the one we just looked at with the 1st or 2nd gen core processors in, most likely you're going to have ones that have USB 2 on the front. And it's goofy because HP and Dell don't usually advertise their USB 3 with the blue plug in there. They're all black, all the same color. They just put the at super speed beside the USB symbol. It's the SS with the USB tailing off instead of just the USB. But the older ones only have USB 2 in the front. Newer ones have USB 3, maybe even 4 USB 3. And then you also have some USB 2, usually 2 or 4 in the back, but 2 more USB 3. Let's get our install running. Where's it going to display to? Big question. F12. if this thing is going to recognize our wireless keyboard. Repair. What? Any key, Control Alt Delete. So it did go over to my other one. Let's see if it gets the USB keyboard this time. Alright, Dell, you're booting up. Active partition not found. Let's go to the normal keyboard for a moment. Alright, it's booting off my drive now. Can we send it in? Undoubtedly no. This is just a frozen image from before, remember. We'll deactivate it. Reactivate. So you can actually kind of see what's happening. Hold on a minute. Let's go here. So we have our install going. And what happens if let's add a source to this. Let's go with a video capture, add existing. We will go with the Camlink front. And there we go. And we can actually kind of get something going here. Alright, throw our thermal paste back up. Get you out of the way. We need room to work here. Room to work, people. Watch out. For right now, let's get this install going. Of course. Another thing, when you buy one of these older computers, if you get it from a surplus place, an outlet, the flea market, a guy who knows a guy in some alley, a guy who knows a guy out of a back of van that's still running, or even flat earth Santa, if he drops off a suspicious one at your house, you know, stickers look a little crooked, you're not quite sure. That's goofy working like that. We got to transform, rotate 180, there we go. Back to normal. Anyhow, no matter where it comes from, and don't think flat earth Santa isn't going to do you wrong. You got to check the stickers, check the parts, check the thermal paste, okay? Check it all. It could be goofy. When you get to this part that we're looking at here in the rest of the screen, the install, if it's a Windows 8 or say, I don't know if they had a difference between the Windows 8 or 8.1 stickers, depending on what the computer came with, and even a Windows 7 computer, or you see some of these Optiplexes and HP, the small form factors, or even the mid-towers that have the Windows 7 product key on them with a Windows 10 for refurb PC sticker that looks somewhat like that. Okay, and they make them even smaller now. You may see those stickers on, but even if it doesn't have one of the Windows 10 for refurb PC stickers on, if it just has a 7 product key, or you don't even know because it don't have a product key, you can try and do a Windows 10 install, and when you get to this part, just say, I don't have a product key, because if the computer ever was activated with Windows in the past before, and the owner, whoever had that, did not migrate their Windows to a new set of hardware, it will activate if it was activated in the past. For this one, the one that we're installing on is a Pro machine, So we have a product key for it regardless. We're going to see if Windows 10 Pro was active on it by installing it. Do the 64-bit, and let's start. No hope, no hope. Spacebar, enter, custom. We have our drive. We're going to hit next. Do it. Do it now. Hurry. Okay. If I had it muted, install, we're doing our work. Well, I really hope that wasn't muted. If it was, I'm going to go over what I just said. These old computers, whether they had Windows 7, Windows 8 on them, 8, 8.1, if the owner didn't migrate over their Windows product key, or if they installed 10 and then didn't take and install it on a new computer, whoever owned it, like moved the license over, you can just click on I don't have a product key, and if Windows 10, when you're doing the install, if it was active on that hardware before, it will activate again if they didn't put it on new hardware. I think I was muted, so I apologize. This is an Optiplex 7020, bit of a different setup, so we're getting started on it. But while I started that, I wanted to do the old switcheroo for a moment. We're going to do that, and then we will do this. And there we go. We've got our install, and we've got what we're working on. Let's go ahead and get this ripped down. Funny that they have the... Oh, I see what they did, and I see why, too. The PCI Express slot is in an actual different slot. Understandable. Alright, I didn't check the size on the first hard drive. This one is a 500 gig. I'm pretty sure the other one was also. We have our fan shroud off, our hard drive cage out, optical drive out. This does have, like I said, front side USB 3. We're not going to get too in depth into it, but we will at least start pulling. Is that a push or a pull? You always got to wonder. I hate these. I hate this type. I like the old, the rocker, little rocker part. Ah, yeah, same thing it looks like. Let's look at the... Damn, we don't even have a sticker this time. Or do we? E32, so it might be slightly different. Let's look it up. Got it? Got it. E32. E32-04. 4404. Anything coming up? Not yet. 4931 dash N41. Let's find out. Does that bring us any results? AMD Radeon HD 8490. So, what was the other one? 50 something? 5490? 84? I can't remember. Let's go back. And back again. So 8490 and a 64, so a Radeon HD 6450 and an 8490 are the two that we were looking at. Let's go there, go there. Our Windows install is going good. We'll continue with this. We're going to clean our little fan out. We do have some dust there if you can't tell. Just clinging to the edges of the fan blades. You know what? Okay, it is clogged enough internally that I'm not worried about it, but we are going to do something about it to help with the life of the card. We're going to take a couple screws out quickly, and you'll see why. Like stuff like this is, if you're buying that surplus store, that bargain basement guy who knows a guy, gift from Flat or Santa type computer stuff. If that's what you're going for, if that's your bag, your stick, your thing, you gotta check some of these things from time to time. How can we get this off of there? 1 and 2. Get a little lift on it and pop it up off of there. And that is actually our fan coming off of the heat sink, and that's why, right there, why we took it off. We didn't have any actual way to get in there other than blowing air in, compressed air. Yes, it's quicker, but compressed air may not move these big pieces of carpet. It may just jam it tight in one of the fan blades against the edge. I always opt for cleaning them out. There's some stuff that you cannot do just by blowing compressed air in a vent or even an air compressor, which is a whole shit ton of compressed air, okay? Some things require manual cleaning to end up with a favorable result. So what? It's a little bit more work. You know what? You're being thorough. Thorough instead of stupid, I would say. Okay, so we got that. Run our little fan wire there. We're going to set it back down. We never actually took it off, so or took the heatsink off. We should be good to literally put screws to it. Why not? Sounds good, right? Let's do it now. Alright, what is coming up? You are set to boot to the hard drive, and you booted to USB because you saw nothing on the hard drive, right? Right, little Optiplex that could. the 790 that could, you're going to come up with your Windows install and ignore that USB, because that's how you're set in BIOS, correct? Good to know. Alright, I got to set it down. We couldn't do the little maneuver at the end to get the bit into the screw. Alright, fair enough. Cleaned up. And everything else looks pretty good. Fairly dust free inside. Not a bad setup at all. Is this one of the spinners? Can you pull it out and spin it? No, you can't. That'd be super cool if you could. Alright, on to the good stuff. We're gonna see. What did they do to you? What did they do to you, little Optiplex? You little Dell. Did somebody try to do something crazy? Did they? Tell me all about it. Tell me all your secrets. Show me what they tried sticking under here. Oh, the horror of these fans sometimes. These single blade fan connectors. Okay, so let's look at our heatsink first. We'll turn the light off. That makes sense. So you can see we had some coverage. Okay, a little bit of air gaps. And I don't think it's air gaps due to they were always air gaps. I think it's air gaps due to it dried out at some point. There, really hard to tell, but you get a better picture of what's going on when you look down there. So that's the coverage on the CPU. Not the best, not the worst. That being said, where did we throw our stuff away? I think we did throw our stuff away. That's fine. We will. Maybe we can use that one. That'll work. I'm going to chisel off some of this dry thermal compound on the bottom of our heatsink. And these ones, it'll make me sad, but they're not favorable to me. The solid aluminum, I like the copper cord ones. Do they work better? I have no clue whatsoever. I just like them. Let's get our plastic tool. We're going to use our plastic tool to scrape off the edges where that thermal compound did squeeze out. I think maybe it was covered at one time, and what happened is somebody had lifted it to check, and when they did, ended up leaving it in the state it was in when we just saw it now, but it happened to dry in that state. It never did fully spread out, so it looked like it had some good coverage for at least some period of its life. Let's get to the CPU now. That stuff out. The other stuff was still slightly tacky, so now one last thing. We'll get our mini alcohol bottle, and we're going to give a slight buff, and then we'll start selecting the languages. I'm going to let that sit on there a moment to soften it up some. Now we should be able to wipe and not really get any residue with our glove. You know you're good at that point. Let's re-hit it with a little alcohol to clean off any dust that was on the glove. Do you need it dust-free? No, but dust doesn't help with cooling. Thermal compound does. It's not even the best at that. Alright. On with the build. You can see this is a slightly different setup as far as the heat sink compared to the other one that was the big like step up. You had and the processor was here, had the heat sink setting on it, went back, stepped up, and had the fins with the fan over it. Slightly different. What is our CPU? We didn't look at that. I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. Don't listen to a word he says. He's lying, people. He's lying. Alright, what do we have there? What is your name? What is your clock speed? Core i5 4590. Is that really what that says? It's a 4590? It is. It is, it is. Look at it. What is your name? What is your clock speed? What is the front side bus of your oldest relative after 486? Does anybody know those answers? If you do, I would be simply amazed. You could probably Google it, but hey. Alright. That's good. It's a Core i5 4590. We went from 2nd gen Intel to 4th gen. So i7 2600, i5 4590. On par with each other. Maybe sorta, shoulda. Or maybe sorta, kinda. You know, you got an i7 quad core, i5 quad core, but 2 generations newer, optimized a little more, runs possibly a little cooler, versus an old, like, not top of the line, but a decent i7. I'm not going to say they're, how do I want to say it, the equivalent to each other, but you know what? Let's see how close they are. I think they would be fairly close. I don't think there's going to be a massive difference. We can tell. Let's look them up. So what was it? i7 2600 versus i5 4590. CPU boss, is it going to load the page? I think it is. So 7.4 out of 6, 7.4, 6.7. i7 2600 is older, 2011, and versus 2014. As far as the performance, 2600, 4590, not bad, close. Integrated graphics, no, it says the i7 2600 didn't have it. Was it a chipset on the board? How did they do that? Because it did advertise it had it from what I read, unless I misread it. Anyhow, performance per watt, very close. Like, not as close as the 4460 and the 4590 are, but the 4590 and i7 2600, close enough. Yes, the i7 is going to be a little better in some respects, but the 4590 is a little newer, so you know, take your pick. Older generation, but slightly better processor. Newer generation, but a little less of, you know, that gusto. Yeah, it's too big. It's like 2.5 grains of rice, not 1 1/4. So what? It's gonna work, damn it. And if it don't, I'll blame it on Santa. Flat Earth Santa told me to do it. You know he did. You heard it here first. Get the latest from Windows. We're going to skip it for now and download that later. You out of your skull? What happens if I rotate this? We have a kind of taunt cord. Yeah, I don't want to do it. We're going to leave it right like that. These, I know you can wind them down diagonal and diagonal, but I always like to wind them down a little and a little. And we have one that's starting to bind. There, it actually caught that time. Okay, so let's go here. We'll go for this one some more. We'll go for these two. And we'll go for those. Alright, tight, 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 and tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, he can still count, folks. He's getting old, but not that damn old. Not that damn old yet. Personal use, next. Alright, this is where we might have to blank it out. We're going to go ahead and put a name in here. But to do this, do you see how, and here let me, wrong one. Let me grab my other mouse and drag this up. Do you see this? See what they got going on here. They want an email, phone, or Skype. Say you want an offline account. This isn't always here. When it isn't, turn off your Wi-Fi or unplug your Ethernet cable. And then go for your offline account. Limited experience. Oh, it stole the screen. Give it a second. It's got to come back up over here. Is it going to come back up over here? There we go. Alright, so let's go ahead. Do that. We're going to hit enter for next. We don't want the password. We'll hit next. Get this going. Yes. We'll just go with all the defaults. We'll let Cortana spy on this individual. Super spy. The Microsoft spy. The micro snitch. The micro snitch. Hi, how you doing? Yes, very good. Get everything ready for me. Thank you very much. Take down my details right away. Alright, hopefully I think we can bring it back up and shrink it back down. And there we go. Put her down here, out of the way. CPU's back in. We need the GPU that we also cleaned out. Go ahead and sit it back in. It's funny. It just looks weird having the PCI Express full size versus the 1X having it under. But I suppose it's just like it's like a mini ITX mini ITX extended, because it's extended this way. If you cut this off, it would be about the same size. It's kind of like an MATX missing like a slot or two here, or a full size board missing quite a few slots. Anyhow, graphics card, and we are just about ready. To light the tires and kick the fire on this one. I'm gonna go. Kick the tires, light the tires. Whichever way you want to say it. We'll do it. And we do it right because we do it live. Oh, oh, yes, I see why. Yes, it goes like that. It tucks the wire down. Very good call. I understand you perfectly, little Dell. And does it hold true? Yes, it does. You can do the 3.5-inch to Dell 2.5-inch hard drive adapter, and you have your third SATA port, but you would need you would have to upgrade, and they do make these plugs. I don't know the name of it right now, but it's basically from motherboard to a SATA connector, and then this one also happens to come with the power for the optical drive. It's like a mini SATA power, but they make these where it plugs in, and you have two SATA power cables. It plugs into your motherboard, because the power's not coming from your power supply. It comes from the power supply to the motherboard just to power the board, but then your SATA power comes out of a plug. They do make a one that has two SATA plugs on it. I don't know about two SATA plugs and the mini SATA power for the optical drive though. That's what I don't know about. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da! Alright, let's go over here and just do a little look and a little see for a moment. Damn, that window is small. Can I hit that tiny X though? I did it. I got it. This is going to be even tougher to do. Is it there? Is that the one? No, it's that one. My mistake. I gotta make this window bigger. I can't see it. Dang thing. Okay. Slightly better. For now, let's, what do I want to do? Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Duplication. Duplication. Yes. Perfect. Keep it. I like it. Thank you. Alright, let's microsize that. And, ooh, not that one. Wrong one, Bobo. What are you doing? Wrong one, Bobo. Again, damn it. Alright, grab the red square and make it small. This one's done. Let's get it plugged. We're going to actually run station 3 on the KVM. This is the Optiplex, what did I call it? 7020. Alright. Let's bring it out, and Y'all don't need to see it, right? It's already, you're already watching one Optiplex. Crap. Oh wait, we have a graphics card down there. What do we do about this? Why? I think we just adapted over. VGA 2. That guy there. The DVI guy. I'm not saying this is new, but as new as it is, I think it's great that they still have PS2. I like USB way more, but PS2 functions for KVMs. Alright, let's do a boot on this and make sure it's like halfway normal with the status lights. And then we'll probably swap over on our KVM. We could actually do both here. How would we do this though? Not doing it. Too much hassle to get it plugged in. I'm not running another HDMI port. Not today, not for this. This is a Windows 8 machine, so we're going to plug in up front here and see if we potentially can run the EFI installer. I believe we can. Let's get our USB mouse. Where'd you go? There you is. Start the install, and as soon as that's done, I'm pretty certain we're out. Are you the mouse? Yes, you are. We have our wired mouse, wired keyboard plugged in. The other set is at home. Let's go for it. Boot it up. KVM, we want station 3. 3. We go for the old F12. I guess we should have did F2, huh? F2. Alright, entering setup. Y'all can't see it. I mean, I could show you simple enough just by moving the display port, but why? If you've seen one BIOS, you've seen them all on these anyways. System info, boot sequence, UEFI SanDisk, so UEFI is set up. That's what we want for date time 11/12/19. Time is liars. Lying to me saying it's 8/11. Let's correct this mess right now. We want 07. And everything should be good. Let's hit exit and get on our F12 key. I know you can't see it. We're on the KVM. Boot menu. Just to make sure. Since this is KVM'd out, I don't see any purpose in having it set up right there. We'll actually pull it over. Is it going to duplicate? I don't think. Probably not at first. Let's see what happens. EFI SanDisk, we're going to hit boot. Is it going to clone it? It's probably frozen. PC repair. Deactivate. Activate. Oh, so it's still, is it still sitting there? Is that right? What did it do? Did it crash out on me? Oh, dummy me. How do we get to setup? BIOS setup, we have to turn secure boot off. My mistake. My mistake. Oh no, we don't need PXE. We're not doing none of that. Just enabled. For the internal NIC, let's hit apply. AHCI drives. Why'd they turn smart off? Is the drive failing? Monkeys. Know what you're about. Multi-display. It is enabled. Auto. Security. Don't need it. Secure boot. Alright. Wish I could show you this right now. Alright, secure boot, enable. We're just going to disable our secure boot in the BIOS to let our install go through. Then we'll come back in and re-enable it. Yes, I'm sure we want to disable that secure boot. Hit apply, hit exit, F12 to get our install going. And there we have it. You can see something. What? It wasn't the whole Dell logo. We're going to boot from our UEFI now. You can see it there. Oh, what? I stopped the countdown, but we have to literally drag this up so I can see. 64, yes. Windows 10 64-bit setup. Bing, bang, go. We're going to actually let's go back to 1. Are we on 1? Yeah. Whoa. 2, 1. Let's replug you back in. Restart on that one. We have our setup screen. Is my mouse? Yes. And we want the cam link front up. Where's the watch? What time does that watch say? What does he do with that watch? Alright, we'll put you down there, arm with the watch. And we'll send you on your way. Next. Installation. Good deal. Alright, we have our install going. We're going to get this set on its way. And, boy, I got to get a phone number to contact somebody. I got to see who the third user is of the computer. Now, this computer here is This one is actually what you're seeing being set up and installed on screen, okay? We're going to hit spacebar to check that, and then hit enter, down arrow, enter, and we literally just, we want to hit next unless you want to like split your hard drive in half to have a data partition where just data lives and Windows is on the first partition in case Windows gets corrupted, dies, whatever, infected. You can literally wipe it out, put a new partition there, and reinstall. Your data kind of stays safe if you know what you're doing, but we're not doing that. We're doing it all on one. And alright, that is that. Let's start closing some of these goofy windows. We don't need them. We got this one. False reports. I'm calling it now. Alright, we're here. We're on the one that you can't see. I'm actually over here running its mouse and keyboard too. We're going to get its, there's a 4 gig Windows update. I think it's the feature update to 1903. I haven't made the USB installer for that one yet, so we're going to go ahead. While plugged into the LAN, or the Ethernet cable, we're going to go ahead and get that big 4 gig update. It should be set up by default to also pull it from other computers on the network, which there should be a few. Get it updated. I do, oh yeah, Windows feature update to Windows 10 version 1903, initializing, and then all the other updates that go with it. Awesome. This one's going to be busy for a bit. This, you can't see it, but it's this guy over here. He's going to be doing his thing for a little while. And this one is what you're seeing on screen doing its setup. Anyhow, I think we can wrap it there. I'm going to continue cleaning up tools for a few minutes. Winners of the contest going to be drawn with a random number generator or random number picker live on the air. If you haven't went and liked the fall giveaway, which is funny enough, it seems like more like winter with the weather. Is it fall or is it winter? But if you haven't went and liked and shared the giveaway, that's over. So hopefully you did it while it was on. That was for a chance to win a $50 gift card of your choice if you won. So that and the 2 winners of the computers, or all 3, are going to be drawn live on the air with a random number picker coming up soon. So if you are one of the ones that checks that out or checks back on it, hopefully you see this post, this part of the video. I don't know, maybe I'll do a screen cap of this part of the video and update the post with it. Not quite sure yet. I am going to make a post about doing the drawing leading up to it, like a day or 2 before, and then the day of. So we'll be doing that real soon. Anyhow, I think we can, I mean, do we really want to see if this install finishes? I got a feeling it's going to be pretty good. You can get junk from the surplus, the outlets, the flea markets, guy who knows a guy who knows a guy with the van running. Flat Earth Santa, he doesn't give you, he don't give out L's, usually W's. You get all W's from Flat Earth Santa. Keep that in mind. That's the best place to get these kind of computers. Whew, I'm over here just like hammering on buttons. Anyhow, if this is your thing, any of this, if you dig it, if you get into it, like it, share it with somebody, get it out there, teach somebody how to do it. Like this, share this, get this out there so people can see it. Maybe somebody wants to do thermal paste on their older Optiplex that's never done it. Who knows? Anyhow, thank you for hanging out with me, getting your hands dirty, or at least watching me get mine dirty. That being said, I think it's time to have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you get here. If you're a link clicker or a late link clicker, thank you either way. I appreciate it. We'll come back again tomorrow with some other madness. I do have one other thing to get set up before I go, but no, not in this stream. Possibly we'll update tomorrow on it. The Dell, from the last stream, quick note, the silver Dell laptop that had the broken hinge that we rebuilt and then found out it looked like it charged, but we never bothered to turn it on. We ended up putting the motherboard in. It does charge. It did boot once I went into the BIOS and changed it from turned off secure boot on that particular motherboard, turned off UEFI, went for the standard CSM boot or MBR. It booted right into his hard drive. That's how his Windows 10 was installed, was MBR or with the CSM. That motherboard that replaced his motherboard though was like a GPT UEFI setup. Once we did that, it booted fine. That's good. The other thing we were working on, the Dell Latitude, the owner got that. I haven't gotten a report back, but from what I saw in person, happy. Felt good about it. Typically, you don't upgrade a computer that old. When you got a computer that is, what, 12 going on 13 years old, it's time to upgrade. But if you get that many years out of a Dell laptop, 2 thumbs up, kudos. Anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow with some more madness, a train wreck. The circus is coming to town. Keep it in mind. Thank you.